Morning guys, this is Eric from the Auto Venture, and today I just dropped off a golf cart so far that had an issue over the weekend. Started spraying oil all over the place underneath the seats, so dropped that off for some warranty work. And now I'm heading to one of the worst decisions that I've made in a while, to purchase a 2011 Land Rover LR4 with 137,000 miles on it. Sight unseen from a car dealer in Chicago that I was text messaging back and forth with. I'll put the text messages in there so you can see that I asked some, not specific questions, but just like, hey man, I'm going to ship this car. It's going to cost $1,000 to get it back here to Florida from Chicago. It looks clean from the outside. As a dealer, you kind of pick up on things as you're searching for cars online. Things like, are the check engine lights on, or is the vehicle on in the pictures in general, or there's just a few things that you can see that will give you an indication if there's any kind of issues with the car. Didn't see any of those from the condition report or from any of the pictures. I kind of solidified that with some text messages back and forth that were specifically asking, how's the engine and transmission? Like, I can deal with some dents or like a scratch or things like that that aren't as big of a deal, especially when you're dealing with a vehicle in this price range in this year. But what I can't have is this vehicle show up and have a bad transmission or a bad engine or whatever. So we're about to pull in. We'll be there in just a minute, but you'll see what I ended up with. So here she is. This is the 2011 Land Rover. Doesn't look in too bad shape. I don't see really, the body looks in really good shape overall, but I think it's gonna be a different story when we start it up. Interior is clean. Came straight from the auction. So I'm taking it out on a little test drive to see, before we get into doing the timing chain or whatever's involved in this, make sure it shifts okay. Smooth so far. I'm not really getting on it because I don't want to make this thing skip timing or anything to create a bigger issue, but you definitely don't want to go to the work of changing out all these parts and the expense and then have it not be, or be fixed, but then have a transmission problem or something else on top of it. So it's kind of a necessary thing to drive it real quick, but you can still hear it. It's mostly idle. Once the chain has tension on it from the engine, it kind of calms down to the point where it's, I mean, you can still hear it. I'll get out of the car whenever we get back and you can listen to it again, but whenever you're driving, like right now, it's actually quiet. So I would say it's definitely the timing chain, and you have a fuel problem currently that can be resolved. But it's a really nice car. I mean, inside there's no check engine lights, which is unbelievable to me, that there isn't anything with as much noise as this thing's making. When you get out, you'll be able to hear it. But it's rattling pretty good. I'll pull off to the side here, give you another listen. But at idle, it's pretty loud. Nice car though, overall. So this is what we're dealing with so far on our Monday morning. This thing just got delivered last week. So the unfortunate part is it was purchased as if it did not have this problem. So the additional expense is kind of, if we can't get the auction to do something, or if we can't get the previous owner to do anything, is going to fall on me. So here we are, happy Monday, and see what we can do to fix this problem. So just leaving the shop here, and they're telling me that it's going to be about $2,600 to swap out the timing chain on this thing. And you don't really have a choice at this point. I mean, it kind of is what it is. You know, the most frustrating part is that, you know, this is why car dealers get a bad name. Is I specifically asked this guy if there was any issues with the car. He said no. I don't know what his, you know, financial situation is, or why he would say there weren't any issues. Clearly there's problems with this car, with the timing chain specifically. I drove it, you know, as you can see, it seems to shift fine. There aren't any check engine lights, which he was adamant about in his text messages, which is true. But what he failed to tell me was the massive grinding noise coming from underneath the hood. So I'm going to take this as a lesson to only purchase from reputable dealers that have a good good history of selling vehicles. This was I don't know if he's a newer dealer, but he didn't have like an actual ranking, which usually means you don't sell enough vehicles to show like the amount of stars, almost like eBay. So we're gonna take it from here. I have a few leads on getting this thing up and running and getting it on the road. So we're gonna kind of take it from there, and I'll give you an update in the next day or two. Hey guys, I always forget to add this at the end, but if this video was at all helpful or I taught you what not to do as a car dealer, please subscribe to the channel. It helps it kind of grow and get the word out there. I appreciate it. Or comment down below, like and share. But have a great day, and see you tomorrow.